One of the most common areas that riders have issues with are their shoulder joints. And that's not very surprising considering the type of rigorous hammering up and down, back and forth, and impacts that they take while we ride. Luckily though, there are some things that we can do to improve our stability and keep a healthy shoulder joint. So in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of movements you can do to build up those shoulders so they have more stability and are more resistant to injury. Sounds pretty good, right? When we're talking about shoulder stability, much of what we're talking about is your rotator cuff strength and mobility. A great way to work on both of those is to start off with internal and external rotations. Okay, so when it comes to internal, external rotations, they're really straightforward. You can use weights, you can use rubber bands, you can use whatever you need to get the job done because it's a pretty straightforward movement. It's not all that difficult. So I just have the rubber band here that's just anchored down at the other end. And for the internal rotations, you want to keep your elbow at a 90 degrees, keep it tucked in your body, like you don't want your elbow out here and you're trying to do this kind of thing, right? So keep it tucked into your side just like that, and then just going to rotate it in, allow it the weight or the rubber band or wherever it is to kind of bring it back out. Rotate it in. You want to do about 3 sets of 10 reps or so. Rotate it out, rotate it back in. Those are the internal rotations. And external rotations, the same thing. You're just going to start from the 90 here, and you're going to rotate it out, rotate it out. Same thing, 3 sets of 10 reps or so. Internal, external rotations will help with stability and strength within the rotator cuff muscle itself, or group of muscles rather. Super beneficial, super easy to do. Moving on to range of motion and strength building within the shoulder muscle itself, there are 2 that we can use which help improve both of these areas. Okay, so lateral raises, front raises. Again, you can use weights, you can use rubber bands. Doesn't really matter because the principle all remains the same. I'll start out with lateral raises, which will work the medial head of the delt or of the shoulder. So here's a couple things. You want to keep a slight bend in your elbows, like don't lock your arms out and then bring them up. It kind of puts your shoulders in a bit of a weird position. So just a slight bend in your elbows and just bring them up to the sides. Again, 3 sets, 10 reps or so, depending on how strong you are. You might need stiffer bands, you might need more weight, something like that, but you get the idea. So these are called lateral raises. And again, that's building the medial head, which is the middle head of your shoulders. That's going to help with stability and strength so that when you do get into a weird spot on the bike and you do have to make a sudden adjustment or something, you have the strength and you have the rate coding of the muscle to help make that adjustment. So lateral raises are pretty easy. Front raises are just as easy. Front raises are going to work the front head of the delt, which is the one that ties in around the pec muscle in your chest. Again, weights, bands, and you literally just bring them up to the front, back down, bring them up to the front, back down. So lateral raises out to the side, working the middle of the head, and front raises, just bring them out to the front. And again, you want that slight bend in your arms. You don't want to do like any weird locked out thing, and it should feel somewhat natural to do, just like you're lifting a plate to put it in the counter or lifting a cup or something like that, right? So you just bring them up, 3 sets of 10 reps, Bob's your uncle. Finally, working on stability exercises to prevent potential stress and wear and tear, we have 2 exercises that do help build the posterior side as well as increase the range of motion. Okay, so scalp pinches, these are easiest when you have a rubber band of some kind. Scalp pinches are, you just start with your hands. I'll turn around this way to give you kind of an idea. You start with your hands out in front of you like this, and then you're just bringing your arms straight across to the back, and you will feel the scalp pinching in the back as you bring your arms back. You really want to focus on your mid-back and bringing those scapula muscles, right? Which are like these little bony parts back here. You really want to focus on bringing those together and pinching them back. And that movement is specific because it involves a lot of the posterior rotator cuff area. So scalp pinches, just bringing those, getting those scapulas to pinch together, right? Pinch those together. Now another thing you can do that's going to help with stability and working out that area, they're called Serratus Push-Ups. These are a little different, so hands up on the, so you know how you do a normal push-up, right? You just do a push-up, it's not that complicated. With a Serratus push-up, you're really going to focus on, do you see how that area on my back is kind of moving again. So it's just, you're really just allowing the shoulder joint to come back and forth. So a normal push-up, right, you're going through a full range of motion, your arms are coming right down into that push-up position. Whereas a Serratus push-up, you're just moving just that shoulder girdle. You're moving just that and back and forth. And again, you're really working. You're gonna find that the area starts to build up some lactic acid. It's gonna start getting warm. It's gonna start tuckering out. And that's when you know you're doing it, activating the right areas. So you're not doing a full push-up. Again, a Serratus push-up is just that little movement, just getting that back, working those interior muscles to help with stability and mobility. So there you go. There's a couple of movements to help with building strength, stability, mobility within your shoulders, because they're such a common thing for riders to have injured. It's really gonna help you a lot if you build up and work on those areas. It doesn't take much. Spend 15, 20 minutes during your workouts working on that stuff, and next time you have a little whoopsie, or maybe you'll even avoid the whoopsie because you have the stuff built in to help you do that. Hope you liked the video. Head over to iRideSupplements.com, grab yourself some subs for the next workout. We'll see you in the next video.